Alex Pereira became the UFC light heavyweight champion just last weekend at UFC 295, and there's been a ton of question about who is the better MMA fighter. Is it Israel Adesanya or Alex Pereira? We have a lot to get into. We're going to talk about the opponents, the stats, all that good stuff. But before we do, please give this video a like, comment what you think, who you think is the better MMA fighter, and subscribe. It is completely free and it helps me out a ton. Now, let's get into it. So who is better? Is it Israel Adesanya, former middleweight champion, the man who has 5 title defenses, 6 if you include the Kevin Gastelum win? Or is it Alex Pereira, the man who knocked out Israel Adesanya for the middleweight belt, then went up to light heavyweight, defeated Jan Blachowicz, who defeated Israel when he wanted the light heavyweight shot, then Alex Pereira defeated Jiří Procházka and beat him by knockout to become the light heavyweight champion? Which one is better? I think you have to look at this and kind of decide on the question on what is more significant in the UFC. What means more? What is the GOAT status in the UFC? Is it being a champion in multiple weight classes, or is it being a champion in one weight class but having 5 title defenses, right? I honestly think you can make a real case on why Alex Pereira is technically a better MMA fighter than Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya, don't get me wrong, he has great wins. He's fought everybody. He's fought the cream of the crop. He's literally fought wrestlers, jiu-jitsu practitioners. He's fought everybody. Great strikers. He's defeated everybody, right? He beat Marvin Vettori twice. He beat Derek Brunson, a great wrestler. Beat Anderson Silva, who has insane striking, right? Obviously, that was at his, tail end of his career, but still defeated Anderson Silva. Beat Kevin Gastelum. Beat Robert Whittaker twice. Beat Yoel Romero. Beat Paulo Costa, who at the time was undefeated. Beat Jared Cannonier, and then, knocked out Alex Pereira. He's fought everybody. He made it look good. He cleaned out the entire division. And that's the best argument you have for Israel Adesanya, is that he's a 5-time defending champion and he cleaned out the entire division. He had to start fighting people twice just because there was no one else to fight. And that looks good. Being a 5-time champion, arguably the 2nd greatest middleweight of all time in the UFC, arguably in some people's eyes, top 15 GOAT, right? But Israel Adesanya did lose to Jan Blachowicz, who Alex Pereira did beat. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, that was a 5-round fight, and if Alex Pereira fought Jan Blachowicz in a 5-round fight, he would have lost that too, because Jan Blachowicz would have gotten the takedowns and all that. And that could be true. That could be true, but it did not happen. Israel Adesanya also got knocked out by Alex Pereira when Alex Pereira only had, that was his 4th fight in the UFC, was when he knocked out Israel Adesanya. That was Alex Pereira's 4th UFC fight, right? That's incredible. And Israel Adesanya lost to Sean Strickland, who got knocked out by Alex Pereira. And you could even argue then, well, if they were to fight today, Sean Strickland would have a different approach. Or if you would have gone back and if Sean fought Alex Pereira like how he did Israel Adesanya, Alex Pereira would have lost too, which I would argue that's not true. Whoever keeps saying that and why, I don't even know why that's a thought. You're stupid, right? You're stupid. That's a terrible. Alex Pereira has only had 7 UFC fights, right? He is currently, his MMA professional record is 9-2. He's fought 4 champions in the UFC. He fought and knocked out Sean Strickland, who is now current middleweight champion. He knocked out Israel Adesanya, former middleweight champion. He beat and won a split decision win, which I know it wasn't pretty, but he still won against Jan Blachowicz, former light heavyweight champion, who was ruthless when he was, right? What he did to Israel was insane, right? His fight against Dominic Reyes was insane. Jan Blachowicz is legit, right? And Alex Pereira beat Jiří Procházka, right? Knocked him out to become light heavyweight champion. He's beat 4 champions. Now, I know Alex Pereira hasn't fought everybody, and this is his argument on why Alex Pereira clearly isn't the better MMA fighter between Israel, is because Alex Pereira hasn't fought the entirety of MMA skills, right? And you could argue that Israel Adesanya kind of gave Alex Pereira a path in the middleweight division and kind of like pushed him up, and that's how he kind of advanced so fast through the division and didn't really have to fight these wrestlers or other Ranger fighters, right? That is a strong argument against Alex Pereira. He hasn't fought everybody, but the people that he did fight were or are champions now, right? He defeated Jiří Procházka. Okay, yeah, he doesn't have wrestling or great jiu-jitsu, but he was a champion. He beat Glover. right? Oh, Alex Pereira defeated Jan. Yeah, he's not really a wrestler. Yeah, Jan Blachowicz becomes a wrestler when he fights Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira, but he's not really a wrestler, right? Then Alex Pereira knocks out Israel Adesanya. He knocks him out in just 4 UFC fights, right? Israel Adesanya, not a wrestler. Okay, I get it. But he still knocked him out. Champion. And knocks out Sean Strickland, who's not a wrestler. He's a striker. But he's a champion, current middleweight champion. Alex Pereira, just because you don't fight a wrestler doesn't mean like your wins don't mean as much to another person who has fought a wrestler, right? Like, I don't think that means anything, right? It just matters at the time of the opponent, who is the best opponent, right? If you look at Israel Adesanya, right? When he fought Jared Cannonier, who you could argue is more of a wrestler than anybody that Alex Pereira has fought, was he really the best at that time? Was Jared Cannonier, when he fought Israel Adesanya, was he the true number 1 contender? No, it wasn't. It was Robert Whittaker. But of course, they didn't run back a third fight, right? So we kind of gave it to Jared Cannonier, right? Now, Israel Adesanya defeated Robert Whittaker. Great win. And you could argue, yeah, he is a wrestler, right? Then he fought Marvin Vettori before that, who's not really known as a wrestler, but he's more of a wrestler than anybody Alex Pereira has fought, right? I get that. And, you could argue he was number 1 at the time, but, and then Paulo Costa, great win, right? He's another more, he's not really a wrestler, he's a brawler. My point is, Israel Adesanya has fought a lot of great fighters, right? And you could argue, yeah, he has fought more wrestlers than Alex Pereira, and that's it, right? Alex Pereira, in just 7 UFC fights, has fought 4 either current or former champions in the UFC. Israel Adesanya, it took him 6 fights before he fought Kevin Gastelum to win the interim belt, right? I get Alex Pereira has had a push, but, he's done a lot more, and you could argue, yeah, he's older, and the glory kickboxing, all that really helped him out, and if Israel Adesanya was in the same case, and Alex Pereira was calling him out, he would do the same thing. You can make that argument, but it's not on a strong... I think you can argue, and I would say that Alex Pereira is the better MMA fighter than Israel Adesanya, because he has fought more champions, right? He's fought 4 UFC champions. Israel Adesanya has only fought and beat 1, which was Robert Whittaker, right? But then here you go. Now you can kind of look at Israel Adesanya's case and be like, well, in Israel Adesanya's last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 fights in the UFC, Israel Adesanya's last 11 fights in the UFC have been for a title. That's insane. And then the pendulum swings back to Israel Adesanya's side. Now I am thinking, as we are making this video right now, I am wrong about Alex Pereira. He's not a better MMA fighter. Yes, he has won a belt in 2 weight classes, right? But Israel Adesanya has fought in 11 straight title fights. And out of those 11, he's lost 3 of them. That is insane for anybody. No one's ever fought 11 straight title fights in our era, in my era right now of UFC fighters. Nobody. And done it like how Israel Adesanya has done. My conclusion is both fighters are amazing. I think you can make a strong case that Alex Pereira is better than Israel Adesanya. I do think that. But Israel Adesanya, now that I think about it, has fought in 11 straight title fights. He fought Robert Whittaker twice. I get that. Marvin Vettori twice, yes, right? But he has 5 title defenses, 6 if you include Kevin Gastelum, all against studs, all against top 5 contenders. And I think now that I am thinking about this, you know what? Honestly, I don't think this question has an answer to it. I would say that Israel Adesanya might be a tad bit better as a MMA fighter than Alex Pereira. I would only say that because Israel Adesanya has fought in 11 straight title fights, and he's only lost 3 of them. In the last 11 title fights he's been in, he's only lost 3. I think Alex Pereira becoming a champion in 2 weight classes is incredible, and the people he has fought and defeated and knocked out has been insane. And it's weird because how do you judge? Do you look at Alex Pereira and say, since he defeated Sean Strickland, Jan Blachowicz, and knocked out Israel, and Israel lost to Sean Strickland, Jan Blachowicz, and got knocked out by Alex Pereira the first time they met, he is worse, and Alex is better, right? I think you would have to look at this and say Israel Adesanya is a better MMA fighter than Alex Pereira, just because he has more title fights in the UFC. He's been in more. He's fought a variety of opponents, and he cleaned out the middleweight division and made it where Alex Pereira could only fight in 4. Alex Pereira, in his 4th UFC fought Israel Adesanya. And that would have only happened if Israel Adesanya cleaned out the division. So my conclusion is that Israel Adesanya is the better MMA fighter between him and Alex Pereira. I think Alex Pereira, if he defends the belt 1 time at light heavyweight, 1 time, he surpasses Israel Adesanya as the better MMA fighter. But as of right now, as of November 16th, 2023, Israel Adesanya has a slight advantage, a slight edge than Alex Pereira as better MMA fighter. Who's the better MMA? If you enjoyed this video, like, comment who you think is the better MMA fighter, and subscribe. It really means a lot. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next video.